On to Manchester City. Pete, City are interested in teenage sensation Rooney Bardghji. Would that make sense? That signing for Pep Guardiola?
Obviously, probably be a surprise right now, but they have had a long-term interest in Rooney Bardghji. He burst onto the scene. Was it a couple of seasons ago? He became the youngest ever player to score against Manchester United in the Champions League when he was just 17. He scored that winner for FC Copenhagen, so he really announced himself on the biggest stage there. He's had a difficult year this year. He's missed all the season with a cruciate knee ligament injury. He's back in training now and hoping to return later this month, if not next month. But he's a very highly rated young player. He's been dubbed the Swedish Messi, so he must be half decent with that type of nickname. But yeah, City have kept tabs on him before. They were showing a bit of interest last season in him because they came up against Copenhagen in the Champions League as well. But yeah, I think clubs might be a bit more wary of maybe pursuing interest in Rooney Bardghji this upcoming summer window just to see how he's recovered from that long-term knee injury. But the key thing in this one is his contract situation at Copenhagen. They do things a bit differently in Denmark because of how their season runs. So he's out of contract in December 2025. So if you're able to land a top young player like this, potentially on a free transfer, it would be a no-brainer. So that's why I'm not surprised that Manchester City are being linked with him. Whether they need him right now, that's open for debate. But yeah, if he becomes available on a free transfer, Bardghji, you'll have all the top clubs across Europe interested in him. The likes of Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, Juventus, Atalanta, they've all shown interest in him in the past. So if he can show he's fully over this knee injury and get some games for FC Copenhagen between now and then December, I'm sure there'll be a host of clubs ready to sign him. And Manchester City, we know, are sort of carrying out a bit of a rebuild of their squad, looking to lower the average age of the squad at the Etihad as well. Bardghji could be a smart signing, especially on a free transfer, because he was talked about when he did burst onto the scene as a 17-year-old as the next wonder kid on the scene.
Got an English agent as well. He's with
Does
Base
help.
Agency, same agency as Carl Walker. I mean, put two and two together and come up with five. But actually, at 19 years old, as a quality player with an English agent, there's a reason the Premier League is, the final destination for a lot of players. We know how highly the Premier League is rated, the best league in the world. And for him, where he's at now, I was at that game, that Manchester United game. He looks a real talented player. I think he's got a really bright future. And as you say, contract strangely expires in December. And with it expiring in December and it not been extended, there's a real opportunity. English agent base, same as Carl Walker. Don't think it'll be long before we see him in the Premier League in some capacity.
And Pete, Man City are also interested in young Ecuadorian Johan Martinez in the summer. Do you think that's a more likely deal than Rooney?
Well, you'll probably think it's less likely. He's 15 years old, Martinez, so he's obviously a very young player. He's obviously come onto the eye of Manchester City scouts, maybe in South America, but look, Manchester City and all the top clubs across Europe are always on the lookout for emerging talents. That's probably why they are being linked with Martinez. 15-year-old winger, very exciting, skillful player. He's come from the same youth system of Moises Caicedo at Independiente del Val, so they've obviously got a good track record in producing some players because Caicedo's been a top player in the Premier League now for a number of years. Look, he's a young player. Martinez, I think it's one, if you're signing them, you're probably planning for the future. Nothing can happen until he turns 18 anyway, so it'd be one of those deals. If you were to sign him, you'd be keeping him playing in Ecuador with Independiente before maybe coming to the Premier League, but there's a long time before that happens as well. So he's even been likened to Ousmane Dembele as well, due to his playing style. He can play with on both feet. And he's obviously a dynamic winger who can beat a man and score a goal as well. But look, he's 15 years old. I think we'll have to wait and judge this one maybe in a while, because I don't think obviously you can make any real statement on the player just yet. But it just shows like these top clubs right now, they're looking at South America and other outposts to try and find the best young talent, because it's getting harder and harder now with scouting departments and everything else to try and get ahead of your rivals and find that best talent and that hidden gem, which obviously so far Martinez does look like he's got the potential to be a top young player.
And Paul, do these moves for younger players strike you as surprising, considering many think Pep's probably not that interested in a rebuild, especially at this point in his career and time with Manchester City? Does it maybe stay more about their state of their finances after that huge winter window and the impending 115 charges ruling?
I think he's always done well at Manchester City, Pep, at rejuvenating that squad every year. And you look at the signings this season, it was only Savinho, wasn't it, that came in the summer compared to the normal rotation of players that he has. You look at the age of that squad, I've done a little bit of homework on that squad. There's talks of a future over a lot of players. So the talk of players potentially moving on: Ederson, 31, Diaz, 27, Stones, 30, Kovacic, 30, Kevin De Bruyne, he's crept up to 33 without people knowing, Gundogan, 34, Bernardo Silva, 30. So that type of age group of players are the block that Pep Guardiola might look to move on. I think he is interested in a rebuild because you look at what they spent in January and you look at the age of those players that they've brought in. The players like De Bruyne, like Gundogan potentially, like Ederson, there might be a few of them that do get threaded out in the summer. But then actually you say, oh, it's a huge rebuild, it's a mess at Manchester City. It's not. You look at the age of their squad, what he's brought in now, and players that are already there. Vitor Reis came in, 19. Kuzanov, 21. Rico Lewis, 20. Phil Foden, 24. Oscar Bob, 21. Nico O'Reilly, 19. Guardiola, still only 23. Marmoush, okay, 26, still of a good age. Haaland, 24. Doku, 22. And Savinho, 20. So you take that group of players and you add another 2 or 3 younger players of quality with 2 or 3 of those older experienced players, you can see what Pep's trying to do. You look at the people that are there, those ages that I mentioned, the youngsters, they're the future of Manchester City. A couple of maybe the likes of Diaz, John Stones, Kovacic, the younger element of those experienced players, stick around, mixed with the youth that he's bringing in and already brought in. They've got a very, very bright future ahead of them again, Manchester City.